And hey, it's Evan Kirstel with another fantastic guest. Topic of the day, of the week, of the last 2 years, enterprise video. David Jeyes leading the product and user experience team at Vbrick. David, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Evan. This is really exciting.
Well, it is exciting, and you guys are doing a lot of exciting work for us enterprise tech geeks, that is. Um, Maybe introduce yourself, a little bit about yourself, your background, and we'll dive right into a bunch of hot topics around enterprise video.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Dave Jeyes. I lead the product and user experience team at Vbrick, as you mentioned. We're really excited about and focused on helping enterprises scale their video usage and be able to maintain solid quality and deliverability over corporate networks. My background, I've worked in startups and especially video for about the last 10 years with Storyblocks and then now with Vbrick, and really excited about what we're building and launching this year.
Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned scale. Everyone talks about video in the context of live streaming or maybe live Zoom calls, but you're coming at video from a different angle. Maybe explain the VBrick elevator pitch for
Sure.
those
Yeah.
folks who aren't familiar.
Absolutely. So we cover a wide gamut of enterprise video use cases, but one of the biggest ones that we see and one of the most critical ones is employee town halls, right? And this spiked, about 2 years ago with this forced work from home experiment we've all been kind of dealing with, where a lot of CEOs in the past might have been in an auditorium or, with a bunch of people in the room with minimal live broadcasting. Well, now a lot of these events, they're completely distributed, right? So you could have executives dialing in from different locations, broadcasting to employees all across the world, some of them in the office, some of them distributed. And it's really important to make sure that that event doesn't fail, that CEO or executive message gets across, it's delivered, it's highest quality possible. And we help with that as well as other things, right? So if you're putting out training videos or weekly employee communications video, embedding video on your marketing website publicly, right? So we can really help to make sure all of your video is delivered, it's secure, that you have good analytics, that it's enriched with transcription and translation in multiple languages, and really, try and make sure that video is treated differently, because we do see it as a different content type that requires special care in delivery.
Yeah, it is a special content type. We sort of take it for granted that bandwidth is unlimited and free and just generally available like air, oxygen, and that's not always the case in our new work from home hybrid work environment, right? What are some of the challenges that you help clients address? The bottlenecks out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for a long time, we've had the Rev Enterprise video platform that works for live and on-demand video usage. Now, what we're releasing is Vbrick distribution, and it's a standalone enterprise content delivery network. What it really does is to help optimize live video delivery across the corporate network, right? So there are some places where you could have insurance companies or banks with small branch offices, or even in energy, right? So you could have people at a refinery or on an oil rig, and that message has to be carried through to every employee to achieve that alignment of the team across the entire enterprise. And so, this new solution, it's built based on our over 15 years of expertise in content delivery, and really is special purpose built for the enterprise.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we look at Google and YouTube, we think, oh, they solved the video distribution problem. But of course, in the enterprise, we like to do things special, right? I mean, we have compliance, we have security, we have encryption requirements, we have unique kind of devices. Um,
That's
so
right.
what are some of the enterprises telling you lately about how they're using video in their day to day business comms, work streams, and give us
Right.
some
So
maybe some anecdotes or stories that might be of interest to the viewers.
yeah, absolutely. And so have some places where They had been doing live video town halls pretty consistently before people went remote, right? And then other organizations where they found the need to be able to communicate directly with those employees at a moment's notice, really important, given all of the kind of turmoil over the last couple of years. And then, now even in order to be able to communicate about shifts in strategy based on economic conditions changing and being able to respond and win in those types of scenarios. Others that we hear is, there's a media and entertainment company that we work with. They use video for almost all of their internal communications. And a lot of times it's sending out a video versus a live stream. But what they want to do is be able to have that content transcribed for accessibility purposes and then translated into multiple languages because they have employees all around the globe, right? And that one is near and dear to my heart because what they've seen video as is not just a rich communication tool to help connect people, but also a core part of their diversity and inclusion initiative as well. And so, the other trend that we're seeing is everybody's talking about return to office, right? And when we talk to our customers, it's different and uneven in almost every case. You could even say unpredictable, right? So what's happening is, some organizations, they want, this division leader wants everybody back in the office as soon as they can, right? In insurance, maybe you want customer service back in the office, but the claims department, they're a little bit, behind or a little bit more relaxed in bringing people back to the office and giving them more discretion, right? And that discretion is great for the employees to have that flexibility, but for the network team who's trying to forecast load on the network and where people are going to be, they're a little bit unsure and trying to make sure that they shore up their network so that when employees do come back, that they're going to have a good experience and not have any kind of dropped balls or dropped streams.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, my experience in the enterprise over 30 years when I was coming up, town halls were, if anything, in person, and then maybe an audio listen-in bridge, poor quality audio conferencing bridge. And that was pretty much it. It was pretty lame thinking back. And now, I mean, video is so exciting. I was glued to Apple's WWDC conference yesterday, and, the production value, the content, the presentations, the humor. I mean, it was like live TV at its best, So
Right.
I assume Apple has a few resources they can throw at making making
They
that
do have some
work
expertise there.
at
Yeah.
scale. But if you're not Apple, is that customers come to you, I guess, for that sort of high quality video experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a really great time for video in general, right? So tools like this, where we're live streaming, we're both dialed in via webcam and a browser and, off to an audience that can reach, whoever on LinkedIn is interested. There was no tool 5 years ago that would allow you to do this, right? That would allow it to have this level of production value. And so tools like this are really democratizing video in the enterprise where, anybody can kick off a live stream, and we have customers
Even
who,
me, like a real, neophyte. Yes, but yes,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah, I don't know, you're pretty good at it, but and in the enterprise, you have this need to really be able to have controls over who can live stream internally versus externally, who can record videos, who can see analytics on those across all of the enterprise. And so that's really where we get a lot of interest from our customers in the healthcare space, insurance, financial services, where they want video to be able to connect with their employees, but they need to make sure that they have good governance and good security and encryption. And that's really where we shine.
That's awesome. So you lead product development, but also user experience, UX, UI. Um, Tell us about that and the kind of interface to the platform, and also your design philosophy. What's behind some of the user experience work you're doing.
Yeah, so absolutely. My background is in user experience. That was really how I came to product management. Is how can I make products that people are gonna use and love and enjoy, right? And one of the exciting challenges about the enterprise space is you have to have a lot of sophistication, but people don't want a lot of complexity, right? And they're kind of at odds at times. And so, something for me that I personally enjoy is just going out and talking to customers, seeing how they're using the platform, finding out about new use cases that they're interested in, and working with them to try and find the right solution for their organization, and then also making sure that scales across our customer base, and that we're building the right tools that a broad swath of enterprise customers are going to need.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's all about the customer these days. It's all about ROI and demonstrating that. Do you have any favorite customers? We love all our customers, of course, but do you have any favorite anecdotes or stories or
Yeah,
markets you personally have seen that have kind of been a wake up moment for you?
yeah. I mean, it's interesting. So I talked about the media and entertainment company. Another one that
That's
is
very cool. So yeah, you can't name the name, but I'm guessing it's a large, well-known blue chip company.
It is. It's one you'd know. I can't necessarily give up too many customer names, but another one's one of the great American automakers, and they've experienced a lot of turmoil where not only did you have forced work from home, but then you have supply chain issues that are really complicating their lives. And it was amazing to see them every week. Their CEO going out and talking to their employees, and getting a sense of where their sentiment was, letting them know how they were trying to bridge some of these gaps and challenges there. Also in healthcare and insurance, where companies are using their unified communications tools, whether it's Microsoft Teams or Zoom or WebEx, and really looking to us to be able to help manage all those recordings so that they can apply governance policies and compliance policies, to be able to meet their needs.
Wow, that's really interesting. So that you have a whole back end built for content management as well. So that's great. Tell us about your background, how you came to be at Vbrick, and we're both gray hairs here, so we can commiserate. Where did you come from career wise?
Yeah. So prior to product management, I was actually in analytics, right? So I just love data. Love, it's probably weird to say I love spreadsheets and just kind of getting
Oh,
in and understanding
I can't
trends and
continue
things
this
like
call.
that. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Nerd alert. But and then what I wanted to do is be able to use that skill set and use that ability, to be able to help build great products. And one of the things I like about the startup culture is that you can have this outsized impact, right? Where you can help drive product strategy and be able to build things that your customers need, in pretty short order. Obviously we've been in the ECDN market for a while, but when we looked to launch Vbrick distribution, some of it was capabilities that we already had, but the team really buckled down, both the product and engineering team, to be able to launch this within 90 days. And a lot of that is because it's kind of built around our core competencies. And so, really, it's been exciting to be able to launch and innovate on new products, and there's more to come as well. So
Yeah, I
that's good.
bet. It's tough keeping up with all the news at Vbrick. You guys have something new to announce. Seems like every day, every week. And we were chatting before we went live. You're back in the office a couple days a week. How's the new hybrid work scenario working out for you and the team?
Yeah, so we've been pretty naturally hybrid. We have our headquarters offices in Herndon, Virginia, outside of Washington D.C., but we've always had employees distributed really across the country. We have a couple people in Boston, a couple people in Chicago, out in California, Colorado, and so for us to go remote was super easy. And now what we've done, and the transition for everybody in the headquarters office was smooth as well, right? So we have video conferences set up. We have our live town halls hosted on our platform, and recordings and meeting recordings as well. And so the shift to go remote was super easy. And now what we wanted to do is get people back in the office and collaborating on a 2-day a week basis. And so some organizations, they're doing kind of, pick your 2 days in the office, but then you can miss out on seeing some of the, there's Frankie G up in Boston. So one of our great sales account executives. And So rather than doing 2 days mixed where you might miss out on collaborating with people, we've gone Wednesday, Thursday. Everybody's back in the office. Everybody's collaborating. It brings good energy to the office. You can catch up with people in the hallway and have chats. We've also been doing some in-person events, some offsites, and last week we did an employee event at the racetrack. As I think our CEO Paul Sparta he drives a BMW car on a racing circuit, and so everybody got to go out and see the cars around the track, feel the energy there, take a ride in the BMW M5, and just
that's fun.
really cool
Yeah.
to be getting back together.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll have to make it to one of those one day. And on the personal front, we all have a unique pandemic situation. How's the pandemic life, or the new world of work treating you and your family?
Yeah, it's going well, I would say. So I have two young daughters. They're wrapping up elementary school year
Oh,
at the end
lovely.
of this week. Yeah, pretty exciting. And so really one of the shifts I've seen is it's kind of nice to be able to pop out for lunch and just see the family and hang out and chat with them a little bit, and then kind of go back to it, right? So I do think it's important to have good space where you can focus and work and get things done, but it's also nice to have that connection with family, and also I think it's helpful as well in a situation like we just got a new puppy, right? And
Oh, I have
so
a picture of your new employee here. Let me add her up.
there we
What a
go.
cutie!
Thank you. That's Daisy Sunshine, which is what happens when your 5 and 7 year old name your dog. But she is adorable. She's a big ball of energy, but so you can only really get a picture of her when she's passed out. But if I need to pop out in between meetings and let her out real quick, that's easy enough to do. And then as long as I'm getting things done, our culture is really about that effectiveness and work accomplishment, right? So it's really about results and not about time in office, and our team is really adapted to remote work and knocking it out of the park this year, I have to say.
Well, you guys are knocking it out of the park. I'm not sure Paul's analogy would be what lapping
Well,
around the racetrack or something. But yeah,
yeah,
really good chatting with you and getting an update in this series of videos. And look forward to more news and announcements upwards and onwards.
thanks, Paul. Thanks, Evan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, David.